Hi, I'm Ramble, and today I'm going to review the Vita Nova hostel in Amsterdam. If you've seen last week's video, you would know that I was in Amsterdam at the beginning of the month, and we stayed in a hostel boat. Boat hostel? We stayed in a boat hostel, and I'd already thought of reviewing it before going, so I had written down categories to rate it in. And I went with my boyfriend and I told him, please have these categories in mind and tell me at the end of the trip how you rate this hostel so I can have a second opinion. My first category was first impression. First impression was pretty good all around. We both had a quite good impression. Obviously, booking it beforehand, we knew that it was going to be a boat, and the boat itself didn't try to be a cruise ship or a hotel. It was really just the hostel boat, which we both found was a positive thing. We chose the hostel because of the price and that it was on a boat, because we thought the idea of sleeping on a boat for a weekend was really cool. When you step on the boat, you realise, okay, everything's gonna be that little bit more tighter than it would be in a house, which you can't expect much, but it was really, really tight. And really, really small, but I will get into that later. My second category was location. The location we found was really good. It was really close to the central station, and it was about 10 minutes into the city centre itself. It was exactly next to the Nemo Museum, and it's quite a quiet area. There's not a lot of tourists, so we were quite confident that it would be a good stay, judging from the location. My third category was the rooms. And the rooms were shockingly small. It was really, really small. I tried to film the room size, but the camera I used made it look bigger than it was. Two people could stand in there uncomfortably, but a third person wouldn't fit in. It was more comfortable when someone was standing up that the other one was sitting down. You really didn't have a lot of room. You could basically only turn around yourself, and that was about all the room you had. In the room were 2 beds, a small wardrobe with hangers, sink and a mirror, a tiny, tiny window, and a radiator. The beds were stacked on top of each other, and so under one bed you had a little bit of space to put your bags. The wardrobe was quite slim. You couldn't really fit much in there. You could fit one hand luggage in there, and on the top maybe like a rucksack. The beds weren't comfortable, weren't uncomfortable. They didn't stick in your mind as being one or the other. It was okay. It was totally in the neutral zone of the whole bed comfort. The duvet wasn't itchy, the cushion wasn't too soft, it wasn't too hard. I think it was quite good. And we also got towels from the hostel themselves, which we didn't have to rent or anything. My fourth category was volume. And in this category, I had to give it a really, really bad mark. The volume in the hostel was terrible. So the volume was really, really loud. You could hear everything. The walls were really thin, and it obviously depends on the people that are in the hostel while you're there. We had a very, very loud snorer who was there on our first evening, who slept, as it seemed, right in the room with us because it was so loud. However, I must say the noises from the toilet that were quite close to our room and the showers that were quite close to our room were okay. I think it did dampen a little bit, so it wasn't like you heard every flush of the toilet in the night. My fifth category had to be bathroom and shower. The facilities allowed for 2 shower rooms, one for a woman, one for a man. In this room, it was like a little tiny closet, and there was really just a basic shower. Not really a shower, but really just a shower pipe. Then there were 2 bathrooms, and it was a toilet and shower in one. You would have to step over a threshold to get into the shower part. You could close the door behind you, and there was a curtain between the shower part and the toilet part. It was quite unusual to have to throw your toilet paper into an extra bin and not into the toilet. The bathroom had a little window, so it was never too hot or steamy in that room. Wasn't ever really smelly to that sense because this window was always open. The room itself had really low ceilings. I'm not that tall. I'm 1 meter and 69 centimeters, and I had to bend my way through that room to get to the toilet. It wasn't a comfortable fit. The bathrooms weren't in the room itself. There were always one for each sex, and also a shower room, one for each sex. The next category was breakfast, which I was pretty impressed by. We had a buffet to choose from, which was in the price itself, so it was technically free. We didn't have to pay extra to get the breakfast. There was white toast, brown toast, 3 different types of cereals, cheeses, hams, salamis, eggs, and bacon. And there were things like water, orange juice, milk. You could also eat your own things if you wanted to because there was a little fridge at the back. The hostel also provided each table with Nutella, substitute, a butter, I think honey, and I think strawberry jam. So the breakfast was really positive. They also had a little toaster grill, meaning where you could put your bread in and make grilled cheese. They also had an electric pan where you could make your own eggs and make your own bacon. Coffee and tea was always available from the hostel for free. The 7th category was staff. There were, I think, 3 people working there, 2 that were permanently there, and 1 person who helped with the reception. I think they were all really friendly, and if you needed help or had a question, they were happy to help. 8 was cleanliness. Nothing was really super clean, and we didn't really look that much into the things. We didn't search for dust or anything, but there weren't clear signs of dirt. So it was clean, but I can imagine that people who are really picky would find something if they looked for it. My 9th category was price, which was really impressive. We had booked quite ahead of time, I would say 2 to 3 months ahead of time. It was between this and a hostel closer to the city centre, but because we thought the other hostel also had a community bath and didn't have breakfast included, that we chose to go with the boat hostel because we just thought it would be a cooler experience. We roughly paid 50 euros per night, which is really good in comparison to the other Amsterdam prices. Amsterdam is a super expensive city to go to. If you want to find something good, I would recommend to book really early. My 10th category was extras. We all had free Wi-Fi, but it was only in the breakfast area. There was a little roof deck where you could sit, or if you were a smoker, you could smoke there. I did see that there were a few board games if you wanted to stay in the hostel, but for us, the hostel was quite just a sleeping place. There was also a wall with special offers, loads of little coupons for different experiences that you might want to do in Amsterdam. There are a few things that I have to add to the experience. Our sink made a weird glugging noise sometimes, and it wasn't necessarily after someone had been on the toilet or anything. It just sometimes randomly happened, and it was quite loud. I will insert a sound clip now. On our first night, it was extremely hot outside. The room didn't really allow you to ventilate any air, so if it was really hot outside, your room was really hot. As I said at the beginning, I asked my boyfriend to rate the hostel, and so did I, and I will put the results on the screen. That was all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week. Bye!